John B. King, Jr. is the Secretary of Education at the U.S. Department of Education. Immediately before he assumed leadership of the department, he served as its acting deputy secretary, and from 2011 to 2014 he was the New York State Education Commissioner. The former Secretary of Education, Ann Duncan, was charged with implementing the No Child Left Behind Act. However, King is obliged to carry out the provisions of that law's modified successor legislation, the Every Student Succeeds Act. Early life. John B. King, Jr. was born in 1975 in Flatlands, Brooklyn, to John B. King, Sr., a retired public school administrator and teacher, and Adelinda King, a school guidance counselor. King Sr. had been Brooklyn's first black principal and later became New York City's executive deputy superintendent of schools. King Jr.'s parents met in graduate school, where his father was his mother's instructor. She died of a heart attack when King was 8 years old. His father developed Alzheimer's and later died when King was 12. King moved to Long Island to live with his 24-year-old half-brother. King later attended Phillips Sandover but rebelled against its rules and was expelled in his junior year. He moved in with his uncle in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, where he applied and was accepted to Harvard University. After receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Government from Harvard, King taught social studies and received his master's from Teachers College, Columbia University. He taught for 3 years, including 2 years at a Boston charter school. King was among the founders of Roxbury Preparatory Charter School, where he served as co-director for 5 years and developed its curriculum and rules, such as no talking in the hallways between classes. King then joined the Uncommon Schools Urban Public Charter School organization. King later received a Juris Doctor from Yale Law School, and a Doctor of Education degree in Educational Administrative Practice from Columbia University Teachers College. King was a 1995 Truman Scholar and received the James Madison Memorial Fellowship for secondary-level teaching of American history, American government, and social studies. Career. King served on the board of New Leaders for New Schools from 2005 to 2009, and is a 2008 Aspen Institute New Schools Entrepreneurial Leaders for Public Education Fellow. New York Commissioner of Education. King was appointed Commissioner of Education of the State of New York in May 2011, succeeding David Steiner as Commissioner of Education and President of the University of the State of New York. In June 2013, Commissioner King released a new teacher and principal evaluation plan for New York City, bringing New York State's largest school district into compliance with state law. In October 2013, King launched the listening tour across the state, in response to the state of New York's adoption of Common Core standards. After a forum near Poughkeepsie, where he was drowned out by the crowd, he cancelled several other planned forums, then rescheduled them. King was called on to resign by several parent groups. In November 2014, the State Teachers Union called for his resignation. He appeared on the Netflix television series Chelsea in May 2016. U.S. Department of Education. In February of 2011, King was appointed by United States Secretary of Education Ann Duncan to serve on the U.S. Department of Education's Equity and Excellence Commission. In January 2015, King became the acting Deputy Secretary of Education. In this position he oversaw a broad range of management, policy, and program functions. In the fall of 2015, when Ann Duncan announced that he would resign as Secretary of Education at the end of the year, U.S. President Barack Obama announced that King would succeed Duncan as the acting secretary until the end of the presidency. President's term. At the White House press briefing discussing King's appointment, President Obama called King the right man to lead the Department of Education, and King replied that the President and Secretary Duncan had laid out an ambitious agenda, and I'm proud to be able to carry it forward. Quote, in choosing King to succeed on Duncan, the Washington Post stated that President Obama was choosing continuity, and noted that King was pushing for the adoption of teacher evaluations, Common Core standards and student testing as the New York State Commissioner of Schools, while the Obama administration was pushing for the adoption of similar reforms across the United States, even if their education reform agendas are similar. Duncan pointed out that King's background gave him a set of experiences that I simply did not have that I think will help to make him especially impactful. On December 10, 2015, President Obama signed the Every Student Succeeds Act, the successor law to the No Child Left Behind Act. In remarks at the signing ceremony, the president said, "We're going to miss on Duncan a lot. Fortunately, we also have a great replacement for Arn in Dr. John King, who is going to be doing outstanding work helping to implement this." On February 2, 2016, according to Federal News Radio, members of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee took King and the department's Chief Information Officer Danny Harris to task for systemic cybersecurity problems, and what some called a lack of accountability for past behaviors. On March 14, 2016, King was approved to be Secretary of Education by the United States Senate after a 49-40 vote. Personal life. King is married to Melissa Steele King, an associate partner at Bellwether Education Partners. They live in Tacoma Park, Maryland, and have 2 daughters.